Hello, I'm China with Fight for the Future. Let's dive into another weekly tech speed run. This week, RFK Jr., lead of the Department of Human Health and Services, announced he is creating an autism registry. Fight for the Future made a lot of noise in opposition to this dude's nomination because we knew he would use the surveillance state to endanger the health and well-being of millions. If you or a loved one is trans, autistic, or had an abortion, it is very possible that data brokers have your health information and are eager to sell it to the federal government and law enforcement. That's why Fight for the Future has called for lawmakers to pass the Delete Act, which would create a national do not call list for data brokers so people can demand that their information be deleted. Thankfully, there are also some resources that you can use to better protect yourself in the meantime. Equality Labs has an incredible anti-doxing guide with resources on reducing your online vulnerabilities. Delete Me is a paid tool that deletes your personal information from data brokers and people search sites. Also, cybersecurity expert Addie Lamar has a free privacy survival bundle that includes info for marginalized communities surviving under Eugenics. We tag those accounts below, so please go check those out. In other news this week, Senator Dick Durbin announced he will not be seeking re-election. What will his legacy be, I wonder? Well, if he is successful in his efforts to repeal Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act, he will go down in history as the Democratic leader who helped strip away free speech on social media during a critical fight against a fascist U.S. government takeover. We have a tool in our bio that explains more about this issue, and we need organizations, activists, artists, everyone who cares about free speech online to make a racket and tag Durbin in your posts. Repealing Section 230 is toxic. Make sure your lawmakers know it. Speaking of online free speech, the Tesla takedown, a grassroots boycott movement targeting Musk's major source of wealth in response to his role with Doge, is now officially listed as a risk factor in Tesla's federal regulatory paperwork. Tesla shares have dropped more than 40% since the start of the year, with a 71% decline in net profit for January through March. It's almost like boycotting works. And it's not over. This week, organizers launched a new phase of the Tesla takedown campaign, pushing cities and states opposed to Elon Musk's illegal takeover of the federal government to divest from his companies through city pension systems, contracts, and subsidies. You can read more about this at the link in our bio. If you're fired up about these issues and you want to channel your internet outrage into real political power, click the link in our bio and follow us for more.